I'm Veronique.
And I'm Sylvia.
Welcome to the High Vibes and the Mind podcast,
where multicultural moms connect.
Hi, everyone. So before we start the podcast, I'd like to give a shout out to our listeners in Virginia, Texas, Germany, and Australia. Thank you very much for supporting the show. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you really like our content, and we have more for you. So today we have a guest. Her name is Renee Hastings. She's the CEO of the company called Executive Help Now. So this is a virtual assistant company that helps clients every step of the way. It's really, really interesting what she explained to us. Renee started her business because she loves organization, she loves helping people, and also because of her desire to be the absolute best. So let's hear it from Renee.
So, Renee, can you tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, where you were raised?
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to. Thank you so much for having me on the show. So I'm from originally Madison, Wisconsin. And actually, I'm proud to say that I'm the granddaughter of sharecroppers who migrated north from the South, work in the fields, work in land. And my grandfather settled our family in this town called Dalton, Wisconsin. It's an Amish community. And as you can imagine, there weren't many people who looked like us in our community. So it became very important to us and instilled in us at a very early age that we are all representatives of the family. And we want to give everyone who engages with us or interacts with us a great experience so that when they see other people who look like us, then they will have good thoughts about people who look like us because we were the only experience that they would have. So my mom relocated from the rural Amish community to Madison, Wisconsin, where they had, it's a much more metropolitan area, more services, more, just a bigger city. And I was still young, preteens, and the city had a program there called the Summer Youth Employment Program. And it was through that program that I was exposed to so many different opportunities, like work opportunities. So here I was, I think I was like 12 years old, and I was placed at this company, a nonprofit called the Madison Urban League. And when I started working there, they took me to this room, and it was just filled from floor to ceiling with books of all kinds, hardcover books, softcover books, magazines. It didn't matter. They were just piled in this room. My job by the end of the summer was to categorize all those books into their categories, into their types, alphabetize them, and make this room some sort of organized, area where someone can come and reference a document to find out where their book was and be able to go and find it on the shelf. So, as you can imagine, this was to me a little daunting, but I was like, I can do this. I absolutely can do this. I'm just alphabetizing things and categorizing things. And by the time that summer was over, I had developed a love for organization and making sure things were in their place and creating sections and subsections and subsections, which easily translated later on in life into file organization and electronic file organization, which we'll get into just a little bit later. But I was 12 years old when I had that experience, and I loved the City of Madison Summer Youth Employment Program for having a program like this that exposes young people to real world opportunities to develop job skills and learn where their skills and their gifts and talents are. Because the following year, I was 13 and they placed me at a company called Norrell Temporary Services. And it was at Norrell Temporary Services, I was actually able to assist the franchise owner. And she was an amazing woman. And Norrell Temporary Services provided just that, temporary employment for people looking for work. So my job at 13 was to hand the applications to the people who were coming in looking for work, explain to them all the different forms, and then receive the completed applications back, and then type their information into the computer so that we could find them jobs. And as I was doing this and I was hearing the clickety clacking of the keys, the more I typed into the computer, the more in my head I was thinking, every time I type on this computer, somebody's life is changing. Somebody's getting a job. Somebody's going to be able to take care of their family. And I made a decision right then. I was 13 and I made a decision that I'm going to run my own business one day, or I'm going to run an office one day, and I'm going to change lives too. And that's how I got started.
Wow, you are very young.
Yes.
I'm so thankful to my mom for encouraging me to participate in that program, because had it not been for her encouragement, she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And so when she saw this opportunity and encouraged me to participate, I'm just so grateful to her for that, for seeing something in me that I didn't even see. I was too young to see. I didn't know I wanted to go outside and play on swings or whatever. But she was like, no, you are smart. You are going to develop these skills. And so she put me.
And those are so important skills. Like you need it for everything in life. Pretty much
Yes,
everything, right?
absolutely. But it
Yeah.
all started with my mom, though. I mean, I owe it all to her.
Wow. It's amazing. Especially, I mean, in Brazil, we don't have the culture of starting to work at a young age. It's just like the culture there is a little different. And I really appreciate that here in the US. I don't know if in Europe is the same thing, if Veronique
Mhm.
experienced the same thing, but we wait too long to be exposed, to things,
Yeah,
to see what we like, what we don't like.
Right.
yeah, in Europe, it's around like maybe 15, 16, you start to work, at fast food, stuff like that. But 12, 13, no. Here they do babysitting already. I was
Hmm.
really surprised, right? And no, nobody will like trust a 12 or 13-year-old, to watch a kid or anything. So
Yeah,
in Europe.
here in the US too, though, the legal work age is like 15, I think, and you get a work permit at 15, and then you can actually work like a real job and get a W-2 and all that for when you're 16. But
Mhm.
it was a special program put on by the city of Madison. So it was a government program that was special just for people who were not old enough to get a work permit, but still, they wanted to expose them to these different programs, from
Yeah,
a
like
young age.
teenager. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
That's
awesome. It was awesome.
yeah. That's a way
Yeah.
also to keep your kids in check, right? This way they don't run
Hmm.
around in the street doing whatever, right? You
Yeah,
know where they are, they're doing something useful and learning a
yeah,
good skill.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm so, like I said, that decision that my mom made to expose me to this, opportunity was life changing for me. That was like one of those fork in the road moments, where yes, I could have said no. I want to go hang out with my friends at the mall, or I want to go, play at the park or whatever. But I said yes. And I was like, sounds like fun. And I was looking for something to do anyway. It's summer. I might as well be making money because they paid us real money. And I think minimum wage at the time was like $3.35 or something like that. And so I was like, yeah, I want to make $3.35 and I can buy my own school clothes and
Right? Yeah, this is
It's a lot of
awesome,
it's a lot
actually.
of money for 12-year-olds, At the end
right?
of the week, you have like, I don't know, like $25 or 30, I don't know.
Well,
It's a lot of
I'm
money.
yeah, when I was 13, it was a full time all day, like 8 to 5,
Mm.
4 days a week. I was like, this is some good money. I was so proud of myself. I felt rich.
Yes.
I know, right? It's so awesome. I hope I can find something like that for my kids too. When they get at that age, start
Yeah.
early and have the understanding of money and working, and learning new things. It's amazing. I think
Yes, absolutely. It's invaluable. It truly is.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so about like how your line of work, What is a virtual assistant? Because I only heard about it after checking on your website. I never heard of that before. So, can you explain to us what that is or what they do?
Absolutely. So, a virtual assistant is primarily someone who performs the work of an executive assistant from the comfort of their own home for a business owner or for an executive. So my company called Executive Help Now. We have a team of virtual assistants who have experience that's primarily administrative in nature. So we do email management, calendar management, project management, expense reports, travel arrangements, event planning, those sorts of administrative type things. However, our business has grown over the years so that now we also do social media management and engagement, as well as video podcast production support. So we've expanded over the years, but primarily it's providing any type of remote work support is a virtual assistant.
Oh,
Wow.
I see.
Yeah, the podcast is big now, right? So I'm sure it's a
Yes.
good market for you now.
Yeah,
Hmm.
now.
yes, I absolutely love it. I love it
Yeah.
because there's so many things that podcast producers do, like creating their graphics and creating the thumbnails and the show notes and
Mm,
that sort of thing. And they would much rather be bringing in more new clients instead of doing those things.
yeah.
Right.
So instead of them doing those things, they can hire us and we'll do those things so that they can focus on the things most important to their business.
Yeah.
Yep.
That takes a long time. Edit everything, when you do the podcast, all the
Yeah.
edit
Yeah,
and
yeah, there's a
writing
lot.
everything. That takes a while.
Yes, there's a lot involved in putting on a show,
Yeah.
and, some people just get so used to it, so used to doing all the things, finding the guests, vetting the guests, scheduling the guests, making sure they're a good fit, doing all the things, all the guest sourcing, all of that. It takes a lot of time, and
Yeah.
because of that, so many people don't get involved and they don't even try because they're like, "I don't have time. I just
Right.
how am I gonna do this? I don't have time to do all of these things." And so what the way we work is that we provide all the services and all of the support that they need. So all they have to do is just show up and talk as the
Ugh,
host.
that's like
Just
a
show up.
dream. It's like a
Easy.
dream to me.
Sylvia, let's visualize that for us later, all right?
Yes,
down,
vision board. We're gonna
yeah, on the
contact
vision
you.
board. Down the road.
Anyone can do. If they all they have to do is show up and talk. That's like they got a mic, they have things to say, they've got opinions and thoughts. Yeah,
Yeah.
we make it possible so that all they have to do is just show up and talk.
Oh, perfect. So you just told us about when you were young and because of your mother, you had that job. So, but the virtual assistant and the big business, how did you get the idea for that business exactly? That one.
Well, one of the things that I heard from a very young age when can't even tell you how old I was, but basically I heard somebody say, if you're going to start a business, do what you know, do what you love. And if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. So when I thought about what do I know? I know how to be an executive assistant because that's what I did. So from those early exposures to office work, that's what I dedicated my career to. I took all the business classes, all the marketing classes, all of the, typing. And even back then there was shorthand that we had to do with a pen, all of that. This is back in the day. I know I'm aging myself. Sorry. But I took all of those classes so that I could develop and hone my skills so that when I got another opportunity for another real job in a real office, I wouldn't come in just knowing nothing, but with some skill. So I worked my way up with different companies, starting out as the receptionist and then the clerical assistant and then the administrative assistant and then the executive assistant to a director and then eventually the executive assistant to the C-suite. And the C-suite are the chief executive officers, chief financial officers, chief marketing officers, all the executive level leadership. That's who I started supporting because I had just honed my skills uh, over time. And that's what I knew how to do. So, because it's what I knew how to do, and I loved helping people, I loved being that person that the executive could count on and rely on and just ask, can you do this? And my answer is always, of course I can do that. I'm sure if you guys ever watched this program it was on network TV, but eventually ended up on Netflix, called Suits. There's
I love that show. I love that show.
Donna, how everyone.
Donna. Oh, so you are Donna. Okay, you're Donna. She could fun and do anything. She was the queen of that office, right? Anything.
Absolutely. So she's my idol, and who she and I are like right here. She's my person. So because that's what I knew how to do. That's what I love to do. That's why I decided to start Executive Help now, so that we could, as a company, help change the lives of executives and give them more time and opportunity to spend with their family. They didn't have to work so late because they were giving us all the work that was keeping them working late. So no longer do they have to miss meals or miss their kids' basketball games or daughters' recitals or whatever. They can go home at a decent hour because they are delegating the work that we can do to us, so that they don't have to work so many long hours.
That's so great, because these kind of people, they have a lot of issue with stress and having, like down the line, like heart attack or whatever, because they have so much workload or they do so much, but so you creating work for other people to help them, that's great, relieving, their stress and everything. And talking of stress, that bring me to my next question. That's perfect. I saw that you have some tips about helping managing workload and reduce stress. So can you go a bit, in detail with this?
Yes, absolutely. So when you delegate, one of the hardest things for an executive to do is to delegate. Someone who's never had an assistant before, they're used to doing all the things themselves. They're used to, scheduling their own appointments, trying to connect with people who are hard to connect with, spending all their time in their email box, waiting on responses, mailing packages, whatever that looks like. They do it all themselves, and it's too much. And while they're doing all of these things themselves, they can't focus on strategy for the future, innovation, how to stay cutting edge. They don't have the capacity or the space for these types of thoughts because they're in the nitty gritty, minutia of the workday. If they delegate those things, take those things off their plate, they don't have to worry about those things. Those things can still be getting done by someone else who knows how to do them well, and loves doing it, while they can focus on the things that matter most to the business or matter most to their health. And especially that includes leaving the office at a decent hour so that they can get home in time for proper rest, proper relaxation, and proper time with their family, with the mental space to be able to enjoy it.
I have a question just because I'm sure I'm going to forget, but while we were talking about this, like how you help each other, like you have the assistant helping the business owner to get organized and everything. How do you train them to know everything about the business? Is it like a month training that you have to do because you can't just like have, okay, delegate, but yeah, good luck with that. And let's see how this is going to be. How is that process?
So the process for our client onboarding it starts with a meet and greet. So when I meet a potential new client, well, it actually starts with a discovery call. So we get to know each other. I start to understand where their pain points are. I start to understand what is keeping them from achieving their ultimate goal. As I'm engaging with the executive, I'm learning their personality, their style, their nuances, and those sorts of things. And I know my team very intimately. So I'm thinking, wheels are turning in my head. Who would be the best fit for this particular client? That's what I'm going to match, not just a warm body, of anybody, but somebody who's a good fit in terms of personality, capacity, and skill set. So those are the things that I think about. And so once I've made that determination, I'll schedule a meet and greet with the client and our team member. And in that meet and greet, we discuss the scope of work. And because I've already discussed the scope of work with the virtual assistant on our team, she's already come to the meeting prepared with questions or with thoughts or with maybe potential suggestions or solutions for the pain point that was discussed originally in the discovery call with me. So I prep our team member, we meet with the client, then the client takes some time to go through the specific details of what exactly it is that they need. So say, Sylvia, that you wanted an executive assistant to support you, and you have a meeting coming up, and there are some important people that you need to get in touch with before the meeting. You would let your assistant know who your key people are, how to access your calendar, what your availability is, when do you want to meet, do you not want any meetings before 9 o'clock, do we'll block you for lunch to make sure you eat, we'll block you after 4 o'clock to make sure that you can wrap up the day in a timely fashion, those sorts of things. So we'll manage your calendar for you, and we'll get those meetings scheduled for you. So it's that kind of training that's involved to share those nitty gritty details. But once we make note of them, then you don't have to share that anymore because we've made a note of it. It's a part of our client profile. So we know how to move forward from there without asking the same old questions over and over again. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I'm sure you're going to find business owners who are like that likes to micromanage everything. And the opposite that is completely like you figure it out on your own, right? So you just like you have to just put them with the right type of assistant who can manage those different personalities in a way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those micromanagers, a lot of times if you communicate well enough, I don't think you can over communicate enough working remotely. And when the micromanager, and I say that in air quotes because it could be a temporary situation, because once they develop trust, then they don't feel like they have to micromanage you anymore. When they've asked you to do something and you've come through, you were dependable, reliable, confident, thorough, and all the things that they needed to get comfortable, then they no longer are micromanagers and they start redirecting that time and attention on the things that are more important to the business.
I have a quick question actually about the virtual assistant. Can they have different clients? Can they work for different people? Or would that be too much?
No, so it just depends on the client's needs. So the virtual assistants have their schedules, which typically are East Coast business hours, but we also work, West Coast business hours, because I know you guys are in California. And so we have team members on the West Coast. And so, but US business hours is when the teams are available. Some clients don't need a full-time person. They just need somebody maybe a couple hours a day, and so because they only need them a couple hours a day, I'll check with my team and say, hey, do you have a couple extra hours a day that you can dedicate since, your skill set matches and I think this might be a good fit for you? And so I will ask them, stay in touch with them to understand their current capacity to take on more clients.
All right. Okay. I mean, that's great for people who want to have a time job and work from home, and it's really, but still have, a very important job as an, helping executive and everything. It's really great.
Exactly.
A great concept.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So several team members who have full-time day jobs that they work, and they work for Executive Help Now in the evenings and on the weekends.
Oh, wow.
And that works for some clients because they're just like, look, I just need to have this thing done by the time I get up in the morning.
Okay.
And that works really well because then at night they're plugging away doing the thing. And when the executive comes in the next morning, then they've got what they had asked for from the day before.
Oh,
Right.
that's great. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
But then
concept.
there are some who need daytime support, and we've got those that can support as well during the day.
That's great. And you don't limit them to do like part-time, like you have to do a minimum of 20 hours or, like it can be whatever works for you.
Yeah, it can be whatever. So the way Executive Help Now works in terms of clients are with packages. So we have packages of hours in 10-hour increments. So we have a 10-hour package, a 20-hour package, and a 40-hour package. And so the client can decide which of these packages best suits their needs and then start there. And then if they decide, well, I signed on for this 20-hour package, but golly, we're a whole lot busier than I thought we were going to be, they can upgrade at any time to the next appropriate package.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, do you also work with stay-at-home moms, or just curious about, or do any of them look for you? Because it's really tough with you're stay-at-home, but you have those crazy schedules when you're at sports and school events, school volunteering hours. It's just like, trust me, I stay at home and I feel like I can't keep up with my calendar. It's crazy. I
Yeah.
need an assistant too. I do.
Exactly. And we do have clients who are single moms and executives. And so, because they are executives on their job and they're single moms, they need a personal assistant. And
Mhm.
so, we definitely check her email. We let her know when there's things in there that she needs to deal with. And we will, if there's a bill that's coming up due, we'll pay, let her know bill is due, and ask her if she wants us to take care of it for her. And then we have arrangements for making that happen. Her kids might need a haircut or a doctor's appointment set, or to be picked up from school to take to the sporting event or whatever. There's so many different ways we support moms, or single dads, even single parents, period,
Hmm.
on a personal level, even in the same way we support executives on a business level.
Yeah, that's great because it's definitely a big help. It's just tough to remember everything, and it's so many
Mm-hmm.
things related to school. After I have three boys, and once they started joining school, and it was a whole different level of things that we have to do. We forget stuff. So if you can do that, it would be amazing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a calendar that we manage with our client that needs where we provide personal assistance. And on the calendar, we put all of the things. She has two kids, a boy and a girl, and they each have all of their things they're involved in. And so we put it on her calendar, and then we put little buffers before the appointment saying en route to the appointment, with a reminder on the buffer. You know what I
Right.
mean? Make sure
Yes.
you get where you're supposed to be on time.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sylvia needs help with the dentist appointment.
Oh my God. I just received a notification from my dentist like, Sylvia, again, we have an appointment. Please show up. Like, I just literally received, like,
You
don't forget about you.
and your boys, remember, twice? You're like, oops, I
Yes.
forgot.
And I'm like, why? I need some help. I keep forgetting, it's too much to remember.
It it is. And we would love to help you, Sylvia. I promise. We
Oh,
would
There you
thank you.
go.
Another thing, vision board too. Like, it's two things to
Yes.
put for the podcast and for the mom help.
Yes, and the other thing about moms too is that we have several we have several moms on our team.
Mm.
And so it's because they wanted to get out of the corporate America and work from home and have more flexibility so they could spend more time with their children. Working with us is ideal for them because they have such flexibility in the hours that they work that allows them the freedom that they want to go on the school field trips, or to be the mom, class mom for the day, or whatever that looks like. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
works so well.
When you're a mom, you have so many, so many responsibilities. You have to be everywhere at once. And if you can
Mhm.
have a little job, a job, a part-time job or whatever, it's very flexible with hours
It makes a
and
difference.
just, yeah, fit in your kind of life, in your lifestyle. It's perfect. It's really a
Yeah.
dream, a dream.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you're a fellow podcaster, so you have a podcast
I
called Renee Speaks.
yeah.
So can you tell us about it? And I saw it's also about spirituality. So can we talk a little bit about spirituality?
Yes, absolutely. So Renee Speaks is the platform that I use to encourage female business owners. So on my journey of building our business of Executive Help Now, I've learned so much. There's so much I realized I didn't know, and how I wished there had been someone who could, point the way for me, kind of make things a little bit easier for me. So I created Renee Speaks as that platform to bring in guests to talk about all those things that I didn't know on my journey, in an attempt and effort to make someone else's journey just a little bit easier. And we just celebrated our 1 year birthday, we called it, in January. We have about right now 57 episodes that we've recorded, and they're all out on YouTube and, of course, on Amazon, Spotify for podcasters, iTunes, all of the platforms. One of our guests was named Ashley. Is one of our virtual assistants on our team. She's actually our business operations manager, and she is a stay-at-home mom who works on our team. And so she's got a whole show dedicated just to her and her experience working with Executive Help Now and what it's like to work with us.
Oh.
So I encourage everyone who's watching this
That's
show
great.
to definitely check out Ashley's episode. It was really fantastic.
Yes, I'm going to
Oh,
recommend it to my friend too. I have a friend who is a mom who's and is looking for a part-time job. So I
Oh,
think that'll be
yeah,
perfect. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to talk to her about it for sure.
Excellent. Well, on our website, there is a more button, and under there is careers. And so if
Mhm.
anyone has an interest in joining the team, or this could work for them, and they've got years of experience in corporate America that
Yeah.
they want to just parlay into something they can do from home,
Yeah.
we welcome great new people.
Great. Is there a particular skill you're looking for?
Primarily, anyone with experience doing what administrative type work is most needed right now.
Mhm.
And now that we've also developed our podcasting leg of the business, anyone who has experience producing podcast shows or has an interest in graphic design
Yeah.
or those sorts of things, those skills are always needed. To find an amazing executive assistant can be a challenge sometimes. So when most of our team members have been referrals from other team members.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we know we're good quality people on our team. And
Yeah.
so administrative experience is definitely one of the top things that we look for. And just someone who has a heart to serve is also really important.
I love the fact that, with because of podcasts and everything, you can grow your company. I really like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that side of the life we're living right now, technology and everything.
Yes, I love it. And it was so funny because I was just using it, like I said, to encourage, women business owners. And then my husband said, "So why are you doing that?" And so I'm like, "Because I'm a business owner. I'm a woman. I want to share my experience. I want to help make things easier for other people." And he says, well, it probably could be used for something more than that as well. And
Mhm.
so I was thinking, how, what else could we use it for? And so what I started doing was sharing the business with the guests who come on the show, because they may know people who might need our services. So it was a great way to merge the two to help expand Executive Help Now through the Renee Speaks platform.
Great idea. Again, another one. So my last question for you again about spirituality. So I saw that you are a Bible study facilitator. So how does this work? Do you do by Zoom? Do you open the Bible and read with people? Do you have meetings?
Yes.
All of the above.
All of the above?
So I attend Victory Church in Norcross, Georgia, and Victory Church is the largest multicultural church in America.
Oh,
So we have 16,000 active members in our church and 140 different nationalities of people. And when you belong to a church that large, it's easy to get caught up in the crowd and not be seen and be dealing with life things and need support, but not know where to go because it's just so big. There's so many people. So we have hundreds of small groups in our church. And there are different types of small groups, for single people, for married people, for women only, for, young adults, for, children. So all different types of small groups. My small group started 5 years ago. So this is before the pandemic. after my cousin and I had a conversation, she had just gotten sick and was needing some encouragement. And so I was like, I'll reach out to you. We can talk every week and, go through the Bible and things like that. And she was like, okay, that would be nice. Well, then shortly after that, I went to a meeting and heard someone say something about an online small group. And my head like snapped. It's like, what? There's a thing? There's such a thing as an online small group? And so when I spoke to the leader at the church about that, he was like, yeah, it's just getting started. It's brand new. But sure, it's an option. If you want to meet on Zoom, we can provide you with a Zoom account, and you can invite people to come and join. And they don't have to be here in the Atlanta area. They can be anywhere because it's on Zoom. And so I immediately called my cousin and I was like, hey, cuz, guess what? We can do this for real now through my church. And so that's how the small group started. And so it's been 5 years. We typically will discuss the Sunday sermon notes in a more detail because, on Sunday, there's so much good stuff that gets said, but no one to really talk about it with. And so we talk about it. We go through the scriptures in more detail, that sort of thing. And then every now and then, like if we're on a break or going away from the Sunday sermon notes, there may be a book or a lesson, like a 6-week lesson or something that they want to dive a little bit deeper into. And so we'll do, something like that for temporarily and then get back to our Sunday sermon notes. And then, so we meet on Tuesdays at 7:30. And for every month that has a 5th Tuesday in the month, we get together face to face for all of those that are in the Atlanta area. So that's why I said all of the above.
Yes, because it is really.
Yeah, I did that for like 2 years, I think 2, 3 years. But after so at that time I was living in San Francisco, and I was going to a French. So I'm originally from the French Caribbean, so my first
Okay.
language is French. So I was going to a French church, and so there was a little group of French, a lot of like French people, and the priest was like, oh, we should have like dinner on every like once a month on Monday night. And so we go to where they live, at the church. They have, their apartment above. So we go there and everybody brings something. And there was this big table. Everybody brings something. We eat for like, 45 minutes, something like that. And after we open the Bible and we talk about something, about a verse or something. It was great. I loved it. We did that for, I think, 2 to 3 years after I moved away. Further, I couldn't really go. But I really enjoy my Monday night, with there's an energy, when you share your faith with other people.
Yes, absolutely. And building community and doing life in community is so important. I mean, we were not made to be alone or live on an island by ourselves. We were made to do life together. And so this is a part of that. Even if we had to be remote, we can still be together. Especially during the pandemic when there was no choice.
Yes, there was no choice.
Oh my God.
Right. But we still stayed connected and grew to, to love one another over the airwaves, because this is how our only way of being able to stay together. And so, of course, now that there is, times have changed, we're back in person, back in the building, and still doing life together. So yeah, it's so important.
It is,
Wow.
yeah. Especially because everything that we build and our business, our lives is all thanks to the main person, the main spirit, God. So yeah, it's good to never
Right.
forget
That's
that.
right.
Yeah, never
That's right.
forget.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, if you
So he's
want, sorry.
definitely at the center of it all. So, as
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what you just said, we would not have a business were it not. So I pray about everything,
Yes.
and being a Christian woman and definitely God fearing. It's like I know that I need wisdom. I need the right words to say at the right time, and I need all these things. And so I was on a call today just a few minutes ago with someone, and I was like, Lord, what happened? And so I was like, oh wait, hold on. I talk to God like all day, so it doesn't know
Yes.
me.
Me too. I talk to him all the time.
Pretty funny. I was like, me. I wasn't talking to you.
I love it.
So where can we find you, online? Can you give us, of course, we're going to put all the details in the episode description, but where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
So our website for Executive Help Now is the name, www.executivehelpnow.org. However, everything that includes everything about Renee Speaks and Executive Help Now, and even my church leadership and speaking and that sort of thing, is at www.reneehastings247.com.
Okay, we'll make sure to put all the details in the episode description. Thank you, Renee, for sharing all your information with us, and it was a great conversation. I loved it. It was really fun.
Well, thank you. This has been so fun, and thank you guys for doing everything that you do to support moms. It's invaluable, and I truly appreciate you coming from. So one of the things I didn't share is that I was a teen mom, and so coming from being a teen mom to being a business owner has truly it's because of women like you and your support and your encouragement that kind of helps us all along the way. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. I know where you come from. My mom was a teen mom too, so I know how hard you had to work, I'm sure, to be where you are right now. It takes like double the strength.
Yes.
For sure.
Double.
Double, triple. But look at you now, right?
You did it.
Yeah. God, I promise.
Exactly. All thanks to God. Thank you, guys. So all the information will be in the episode, description if you want to connect with Renee. And don't forget also to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week. All right, bye. Yeah. Thanks, Renee. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to High Vibes on a Mic. Until next time, laugh hard, stay silly, and never forget to bring your sense of humor. Please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest.